Hello, I hope you're doing fine. I've already introduced you guys to Actix, basically which is a web create in Rust to use a web application. So today we are going to create a reaction game. I have already written the HTML for you guys because I don't want to spend time on writing the HTML in this particular video, but I will go through the important elements of the HTML. Basically, which is your body part of it, which is very simple. So what does a reaction game is? So you will see a box in your screen, which is of red color. You will click on it, it will turn gray, and then you have to click it again as soon as it turns green, and this is your reaction. Basically, this is your reaction time, and this is what we are going to calculate. So basically, this is the form which creates this reaction box and the reaction button, and this is a small script which is basically turns the box to red to gray and then calculate the time, and then from green, and which calculates your reaction and then clears the timeout and change the background color to red again. We will go through this again at the end of this particular video. Index.html is basically the start page of your application where you enter your name and you enter into the game, which is very simple. And later on it also displays the result, like how much your reaction times are, because you can play it multiplayer, right? You can also host this web application into AWS if you wanted to. But today in this video, we are going to go to the Rust backend of this. And the first thing we are going to create is called leaderboard.rs. For that, we used to have we need something which is called three things. First, it's called Actix files. Basically, this is used to load your game HTML, index.html, and your style.css. Actix Web, which is your HTTP server live and will help you to create your web application, and your Surday create, which is basically the serialization and deserialization of your struct. So let's start by creating the struct, right? So we have the pub struct record. And what does this record is? This record is have two things. It has your name and your reaction time in milliseconds. So it has your name, which is nothing but a string, string. And the second thing which it has your public reaction time, reaction underscore time underscore .ms u64. So you might be wondering that why it is showing in light color, why not, it is not showing in the good color. It is because of the main.rs, because we haven't included this particular thing inside the main.rs, which basically is, that's why it is showing in such a color. So what we're going to do is that we are going to include this module into our main.rs. So basically our main.rust analyzer to build this module. So it's a main function not found in create reaction game. Obviously our main function, there is no main function as such. So let's create a simple main function for here, function main, which returns nothing, and we are done. And for that we can write print ln hello. Right now for Rust analyzer, everything is okay for now, and that's why you are able to see the record. Now basically what we need to do right now is to derive some macros into it, which is basically we are going to use our derive macro here. So we have to go to the header of this. So header hash derive and then what, I'm doing so many mistakes today. So what we are going to derive today is one of the, definitely the debug. We are also going to use the serialize from the Surday create. We are also going to use the deserialize from this, and we are also going to use the clone. Basically clone is something when you basically create a clone of your record. That means basically a copy of your record. We will need it. And then basically we are going to create another struct, because as we are going to hold the vector of records, we need this struct called leaderboard. And I want to name it as capital. We go to the end and we declare our records, which is nothing but a vector of record. And then we are going to drive one more thing here, which is called default. Now we can have debug as well, but the main important thing we should have is default, because if nothing is declared, the trait should have default. So we have to do impl leaderboard pub function pub fn_new, and this function we have to declare because we have the default trait in our structure, and this will return self structure and this vec of perfect. So basically, if you just create something like a new structure leaderboard, it will return you a empty vector. I wanted a capital L. Why did it was so small L? Perfect. So this is fine. And now what we are going to do is that we are going to create some more methods for our leaderboard, like add record and get the top record from our leaderboard. So how to do that? We see public function add underscore record, and for that we need mutable self, because we are going to add record to ourselves. We are going to say record of record type. So basically record, and it should be of record type, and then we create our function. So self dot records rec, actually it should be self dot records dot push, I think push, and it takes record here and self, and now we are going to sort it as well. So every time we add a new record, basically we sort it by the key. So record sort by key, and what our key should be here. In case of here, the reaction time should be the key. So r dot reaction time in ms should be the key, and then we say if self dot rec records dot length is greater than 100, because we don't want to fill the memory, right? So we are gonna drop some records. So we are going to do self dot records dot truncate till 100. So we are going to say, okay, I don't want more records, just keep the records like till 100, and then we are done. So it says self parameters only associate in the implementations. It should be, yeah, okay, right. I have to move this to here, because these all are implementation of basically from the leaderboard, and that's why you need a self parameter here. And that's what was showing that, you know, there was an error. Fine, this is working now. Now we need another implementation, another method for our struct, which is called get top. So we are going to basically get the top 10 records, and in this case the self should not be mutable, because we are not going to modify the self. We are just going to get the values from out, and count should be of due size, and what we are going to return is called vector of record. Perfect. And here we are going to do self dot records dot iterator iterator, and then we are going to take how much we need is the count, and then we need to clone it, because if we return the original records, then you can modify them, and then you don't have any more the actual records, and then basically collect them as the return type. And then we are done with our leaderboard struct. We have written everything. Obviously there are some warning because we haven't used it yet. Now basically we move to our main. You know that in main we have to use the leaderboard definitely, but we have to create like a struct app state, because the leaderboard can, if you basically, like right now you are just running the application in one browser, but it could happen you can run the application in multiple browser or host it, and then what you need to do is you need a mutex on your leaderboard, because if multiple browser try to access your application like everywhere, then basically you have a problem. And that's why we need to create an app state app state in which we provide a mutex to our leaderboard. Similarly, our main will go async because as you know that in Actix Web, the main is async. Actix Web, the main is async. Okay, and then we have to also declare async async function main. Obviously it will show an error because you have to pass the 18. But first what we need to do is we will create some commands which are some functions which are really useful for our main. So we can do two things. Either we create the function first, or we can basically I can write the main. So let's create the function so that we can spend more time talking about them rather than explaining them later. So what we do is to create a function called index. What it will return is basically a named file. Why a named file? And this is very simple. I'm telling you. The reason we have created this function is basically we are going to provide a route to our Actix Web to your index file, and it will return something very simple like okay, named file colon open, and the path is basically, which is very simple, is static index dot html. Right, we are going to pass our static.html. We are going to return is that index, and I think this should be okay. What does this say? Result take 2 generic argument, and we have provided 1. The simple reason behind is that we have to use a crate called anyhow. The thing is this result can also provide 1, but yeah, then you have to use a thing called anyhow. We haven't used the anyhow now. Let me add it to my code basically. So what I do is that I do here cargo add anyhow. It works now. And then if I see this, can I use it directly? Use anyhow colon result. Now it's okay. So this is what we are going to do. It's again say an error, mismatch type, result name how is this, and it just provide an okay. What I can do is that I can also use unwrap, or I have to use question mark. Perfect. Right, now this is fine. We have created our async index. The second thing we need to create is basically the submit score. So as I told you, when someone submit the score, we basically wants it to return to the original index.html where it sees basically the leaderboard. So how we are going to do that? We are going to do async fn submit scores, and it's going to take obviously something called data, which is of web, data of app state, and it is going to take the second argument in this called form. There's one more arrow, and we are going to take the second argument form, which is nothing but web colon form, and this is record, RECORD. Yes, and now we have created our submit score function. It will also return the same thing called named file, because we are going to anyway return our index.html again, and I'm just going to copy this here. The thing it is going to do is that let mute lb equal to data dot leaderboard dot log dot unwrap. So I'm going to take our leaderboard, I'm going to unwrap it, and then I'm going to add a record there, because now we have got the record. So leaderboard dot add record, and we are done. So it says record is not found in the scope because it did accidentally into inner. Okay, this should work, and I need a semicolon here for the submit score. Perfect. Now the third thing we need to is to get the leaderboard. Whenever you open the index.html, you need the leaderboard, right? For that, we are going to create one more function called async function get underscore leaderboard, and you are going to get data colon web data app state. But in this case, you are going from one page to another. So instead of basically returning a name, you are going to return a response here. Okay, now to write the response, we have to do the simple thing is let lb, because we have already created all these functions, so it really becomes easy for us to do everything. So we say data dot leaderboard dot log dot unwrap, and then we return http response colon colon okay dot json leaderboard dot get top, and we pass the count as 10, and we are done. So this is how we have created our leaderboard index and everything. And now the most important, we have to write our main function. Now writing the main function like is very simple, because we just have to get our leaderboard and create a new HTTP server. So we say let leaderboard equal to web colon colon data colon colon new app state, and basically we are going to create a closure here. So here we say leaderboard colon new text new, and in this we pass leaderboard colon colon new, and we are done. And okay, now we have to create a HTTP server here. So HTTP server, and we have to create a new HTTP server. And obviously whenever you know that we create a HTTP server, we move things out. And in this, we create our closure after this. And then in the closure, we create app colon colon new. And then we do dot app data, in which is basically we are going to create a clone of the leaderboard, because this is our app data. We are going to use some services. So basically we are going to load all our static files in our services. So we are going to use active files, and then files, and then new, and here we are going to pass the parameter called static static, and then we are going to pass another which is serve from as well. So we say static. Perfect. And we come here, we say show file listing. Perfect. And this is the second point is done. Now we come to the third point where we have to define the route. So the first route is basically nothing like what the initial route should be. I think I pressed enter here, and then we say if this is the route, we just do web colon colon get dot to index. As we have already loaded all the services here, we don't have to mention like we have to go to index.html. It already know that you need to call basically this index what we have created here. This will literally call this index from here. So this is done, and then we are going to add another route which is our submit route, because whenever we submit the leaderboard, so we write it submit submit, and then we basically say that which kind of request it is. So that's what the web get request. I hope you understand the like the difference between the get and the post. And if you don't, you can always write in the comment section and I can give it a reply. So we are going to write a submit score. We don't have to pass anything here, and this is the closure. Then we'll add our last route, which is basically the leaderboard. And this route is also a get request, because I don't need to send any additional parameter to it. So I can use the get request here to get leaderboard. And basically we end our closure here. This is done. We end our closure here. I think I'm missing one bracket, right? Yes, from the routes we are missing one bracket, and then we are basically we have to write don't bind, which address to bind. So we are going to say we are going to bind 127.0.0.1 colon, the port will be 8080, which is to your local host. We say dot run, we run our server now, and the last thing we need to do is to dot await, await, and this should complete our async function if everything is run correctly. So I can write here print, actually the print ln part, and here I can write server running at I need to add the semicolon here. Okay, now let's see what is the thing. One thing it should see is that our main function still not work, because it should return something. What it should return? std.io result . And it still says that the submit scores is not correctly, so the trade bound error is not satisfied the response error. So basically it is saying the things we are returning from our is not the things we are returning from our result. These results are not working because, but this is okay. And so basically this result is not working, and what we need to do here, required web error to implant convert from anyhow errors into active webx error. It doesn't know how to do that. So I think what we need to do here is that we need to load the result from Actix Web, not from the anyhow trig. Correct. So what we are going to do is that if we see if the result is here, it is here, and then we are going to delete this anyhow because we don't need this anyhow result. And now it should work, so it should get everything perfect. Now it says the run, the method run is available on HTTP server web entry point. It should it is the web server. So this is the server, this is the closure, this ends here. Does it says consider unique result expect to unwrap it? Okay. Yeah, now it works. So basically we were not unwrapping it, so that was bind what result, returning your result, not the okay result, and that's why you were not able to see the run function. Now everything should work. So let's run. So we say cargo run. So everything should build now, and let's see if everything works correctly. If there are any issues, we are going to fix it during our run. So it is still taking some time to build because Rust is mostly do work at compile time, and that makes it very fast during runtime. So sometimes there are some issues which can take some time, but it's okay. Now it is finished and it says the server is running here. I will just copy this command. I will go to my this and I will just do a paste here and I press enter. So this is my reaction game. And I go Samir Negi, I can go start the game. I can just wait for the green. Oh, it says my result is 705. Perfect, right? Now I can start the name with another name and I can just do it again, over and over again. And then wait. Wow, this works perfectly fine. So this what we were expecting to develop. We have reached. I hope you like this reaction game and will be able to develop it on your own. Obviously, if you have some questions, you can always write in the comment section or ask me directly as well. Give me a like and subscribe for this video, and thank you so much and have a nice day.